Hi, this is Ann with Graphic Design How To, and today I'm going to show you 4 ways to use gradients in Adobe Illustrator. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I'm here in Adobe Illustrator and I'm just going to open a new file. I'm going to go to Print and Letter, and I'll just change this to RGB because I think RGB works best with gradients. They look really nice and bright. So I'll create. Now I'm going to hit M to get to my rectangle tool, and I'm just going to draw a shape. Next, I'll make sure my gradient panel is up. If you're not seeing that, it's under Window. So right here. And then I'll just click on the gradient slider here. That'll give me a white to black gradient. And I don't need a stroke on this, so I'm just going to get rid of that. I'll click on the foreground, which is the white to black gradient. Now this first way is the way that most people know. It's just a regular way to make a gradient. I'll double click this side of the gradient slider, and I'll just choose this green right up here. This is in my color panel, and that's also under Window. I'm going to hold Option or Alt, and I'll click this to make another node. We'll make that yellow. I'll hold Option or Alt and drag again to make another node, and I'll make that kind of a teal. And then finally the last node, I'll just double click that and I'll choose kind of a blue. We can also move these sliders to kind of place where the blue lies, and then these top sliders will increase the amount of, say, the teal or the blue. Now I want this to be an up to down gradient, so I'm going to put it at 90%. And if I don't like that, I can just flip it right here. I can make a radial gradient by choosing the type right here. But I'll just leave it like this, and I'll put it at 90%. So that's the first way. That is the most simple way to make a gradient. The second way is to use something called a freeform gradient. I'm going to hit M again to make another rectangle, and it just uses the last thing I created, which is this gradient. I'm going to come up here to Effect, and I'll just make this a little different. It doesn't really matter. I just want it to look a little different. That looks fine. I'm going to click on my fill here, and I'll just give it a red fill. You'll notice that your shape is different than the actual arch behind it, and that's because it's an appearance. So I'm going to expand it so we have just the arch. I'll go to Object, Expand Appearance, and now we have that whole shape. Next, I'll get back in my gradient panel, and I'll choose this third option, the Freeform Gradient, and I'll click that once. It'll try to use the colors that were used the last. So up here we have blue, and we can move this blue node around and give it a different effect. It kind of just moves the blue to wherever your node is. And then this will expand it. To change a node color, you can just click it once and then find a color you'd rather use and click that. I'm going to add a node down here. You can also double click and just change the sliders. You have 3 options here for colors. So that is the second way to make a gradient. With this, you have a lot more control. You can put the blue up in a corner and then have pink down here. And you cannot do that with the original way of making a gradient. Right now, if I click off and then get back on it, I won't be able to edit it. So you have to come over here to Gradient and Edit Gradient, and then you get your nodes back. The third way I'm going to show you to use a gradient is with a gradient blend. And to do this, you'll need 2 gradients. So I'm going to copy this one and paste. And I'm going to change my colors quite a lot. Let's try this red color, and then yellow for that. And I'll flip it. Okay, so now I have 2 different gradients that I want to blend together into one. So to do that, I'll go to Object, Blend, and Blend Options. And we want to change our blend options to something like specified steps and put about 50 in there. So this is going to make 50 copies that will blend into each one. So I'll say OK, and that doesn't change anything. I'm going to align these across the top just for a better effect, and then I'll go to Object, Blend, and Make. Now since we did 50 steps, you can kind of see them. This is the top one right now, so you can see that hard edge. If you want it to be more steps, you can undo, go back into your blend options, and maybe make this something like 100. And then blend again with Object, Blend, Make. Now, you probably will be able to see a hard line here. So that's a drawback of using a blend, but it is an interesting effect using gradients. And then fourth, you can use the gradient mesh tool. I'm going to get back under my rectangle tool and we'll just get the polygon. I'll hit D to get a white fill and a black outline. Now I'm going to get on my mesh tool. So I'll click that. The mesh tool can be a little bit tricky, but the idea is you can add different points and then color some of those points and they'll blend into each other. Now I've got my A tool, which is my direct selection. I'm going to hit Command Y or Control Y so I can see what I'm doing because I just had a white fill on this. And I'm going to draw around these nodes and I'll just pick a color. I'll hit Command Y or Control Y again to see what I'm getting. And actually, I'm going to select the whole thing first and I'll just make it yellow. Then I'll hit Command Y or Control Y and I'm going to pick a few nodes throughout and I'll change those to the green. Hit Command Y or Control Y to get back. You can select any nodes that you want and recolor them, and it'll cause them to blend into each other. So even though this isn't the greatest example of why you would want to use this, I have another video that shows a more practical use of this tool. And you'll be able to see that. It'll be right up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen right now. And that's it. That's 4 different ways to use gradients in Adobe Illustrator. All right, I hope this video is helpful for you. If you liked it and you want to see more videos like this, just click on the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, and you'll be notified every time a new video comes out. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.